February. Oh my God. First of all, I can't believe that it's February. And also, I am so relieved to be finally coming out of my winter arc. So I thought I would film a little bit of this video to go with my post on the fire horse year and whether you are going to be crowned or whether you're going to get burned. So let's dive into it because I have a lot of things to say. I did write most of it down in the post. So if you didn't want to hear me ADHD ramble on about a whole number of different side quests and things like that, then you can just go ahead and read the post. But I wanted to just take an opportunity to kind of share with you a little bit about what I was going through during my winter arc and the downloads that I got and how this can actually help you discern how to get through this fire horse year because I'm going to be dead ass honest with you. It is going to be spicy, right? Joey Yap, who is a master at Chinese metaphysics, I was watching one of his videos about the fire horse year, and he said something really profound and it stuck with me, which was, the fire horse energy is very chaotic and it disrupts, right? And we've seen this in tropical astrology too, going back to all the way back to even 1666, like when you go back in history every single time, right, that whatever, like Saturn is in Aries, or Neptune is in Aries, Uranus is in Aries, or whatever it is, right? This is when all of these world wars happen and the revolutions happen. And so the Chinese way of saying it is whenever the horse or the sheep come in, like the horse and the sheep animals are in their fire element, that is also when these revolutions occur. And like he explains it in detail in his video. And so the interesting thing though is that uh it is not really necessarily something to fear, but depending, which is why it's like the question is, will you get burned or will you get crowned? But it's actually really liberating because if you have been doing the work, if you have been really mastering yourself, learning about yourself, clearing your karmic contracts, like really like building um, like a business or a product, or you're serving your community in a way that aligns with the new world order that is going to rise after this patriarchy, globally gets destroyed, then you're going to be set and you're going to actually get crowned as one of the leaders, that is going to be coming up, which is so exciting, right? So clearly we're moving from a patriarchy to a matriarchy. And I mean, these are the downloads that I have been getting during my winter's arc, and I think it's really liberating because it's not necessarily about a pyramid. It's now going to be about like a circle or about waves. It's about circulating within, making sure that your community is taken care of, that the people are taken care of, right? Where it's not just about profits, it's about the people, and that's much more of a matriarchal ideology than the patriarchy. And especially in America with its capitalism was all about, private equity receiving the most amount of profits. So, like in the idealistic sense, capitalism was good because if you were willing to, work hard at it, quote unquote, you can have the American dream, right? You can go on Shark Tank and pitch your business idea. And then all of a sudden, like the sharks back you, and then you become this multimillionaire and you get to be able to provide for your friends and family and also allow your product to help millions of people, blah, 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 blah. But of course, now we're in the late stages of capitalism where the people who were able to create a ton of profits had, shall we say, too much greed, right? And money is a form of power. And so, unfortunately, they have been, as you can see across all of the different political stages, they have been abusing that power. They have been abusing those rights. And so, because they have misuse their power due to greed, due to boredom, due to honestly, the source of all of it is soul unfulfillment. Like their soul is not fulfilled because if their soul was truly fulfilled, they wouldn't be still like grabbing for power. Does that make any sense? So there's a lot of that hubris, aka pride, and the ego, whatever you want to call it, that is causing them to do what they are doing right now and trying to just have this, you know, oligarchy, fascist tyranny thing, right? So the thing that's important to note though is that if you have been doing the work and if you have been jumping timelines, which I have been doing, and it's been one wild and crazy ride, you start to see that the news is changing and you start to see that, like, people are really taking a lot of affirmative action in order to rebalance the scales, as the most polite way that I can put it, right? Because the atrocities that we're seeing on the daily are like, like they're horrifying, for lack of a better word. And I don't even think horrifying is even like appropriate. It's worse than horrifying. It's just like this should not be happening, right? So naturally, it can put you in a state of fear, right? I was definitely in a state of fear. I was like, "Oh my god, maybe I'm going to get attacked. Maybe I'm going to get taken. Like what can I do? What do I do? How do I protect myself?" But you know, thank goodness for, thank you to all like my angels and ancestors and primordials and powers that be that are protecting me. I'm so super grateful for that. But also, just like on the 3D human realm world, like, okay, like let me use my brain and let me use my smarts and let me see how I can actually protect myself effectively so that, we can create the market change, right? So, there are two ways to look at years like this year of 2026, which is again a fire horse year. I find that the easiest way to explain it is with Chinese metaphysics because it just, I don't know, to me, it just makes more sense. You don't have to understand what Aries is. You don't have to understand what a conjunction or, a sextile or like, whatever it is in astrology, right? Chinese metaphysics is basically based off of the five elements and how they react with each other. So, um, with fire, fire illuminates, right? And this logically makes sense to all of our brains. I mean, comment below if this makes sense. So, fire is light. So it will illuminate. Now, this is positive and negative, right? It's going to illuminate what is working and what isn't working. And we're seeing that right now, right? We're seeing how it's like, oh, yeah, this government is not working. This stage of capitalism is not working. The way that we are governing the people is not working. But on the flip side, we're also seeing like where people are standing up and they are working and they are fighting for what's right and they are making market changes and they are doing everything within their capacity in their industry in their niche in order to rebalance the scales, to, get justice, to seek retribution for those who were, taken, attacked, unalived, all the things, and to try and restore some semblance of guardrails or infrastructure or laws that will help protect the people and bring back peace and harmony. Right. And so we see this on the global stage, but I want to remind you that this also happens on a personal level as well. So when you are looking into, well, what is your forecast for 2026? Like, you got to look at, okay, everything's going to be illuminated, good and bad. So the whole point with like, will you get burned or will you get crowned? It really depends on whether you're going to do the work. Now, Joey Yap, his direct quote was, the reckless will get burned and the ready will get crowned. And I thought that that was a very succinct, good expression of what this 2026 year is going to be. Fire is going to illuminate, and because it's the horse, it's a double fire. So then that means that it's going to be like the sun. It is bright, it is blazing hot, and it moves really, really fast. So you're going to have to know how to think quick, make bold moves, and be strategic. Like, if you are going to overthink, you could cause yourself years of being behind. But if you know how to pivot and move and like, get to where you need to go and like, say the thing when you need to say it or when it comes through, you're going to set yourself up for years ahead. That's personally what I'm doing. So you might want to do the same. And don't worry, I will be giving you step by step, tips and tricks on how to do so as well. So, this is the stuff that I really wanted to talk about. So, when we are sitting here and focusing on this energy, the fire horse energy actually started on February 4th. So, today, as I'm filming this video, it is Saturday, February 7th, 2026. So, you want to ask yourself, like, okay, how have the past 3 days been feeling? Like, you'll start to get an idea of what this fire horse energy how it's going to affect you personally, just by observing how you're feeling it now. Once February 17th hits, which is Chinese New Year, then it's really going to be the fire horse year. So this is the last little stint of the Yinwood snake, okay? So it's like, go ahead and like slough off the rest of that skin and start to emerge and start to understand and stand up for, and embody who you really are. Right. So that now brings me to his Joey App's next thing that he said, the theme of like 2026, and actually the answer to this question, will you get burned or crowned? He was saying that this all boils down to self mastery. Okay. So those who have understood who they truly are and what they're truly here to do and are building up their empire, their business, their way of doing things that their soul came here to do, right? They are the ones that are going to get crowned. So I want to talk about that and how like my winter arc got me to my true identity that I wanted to share with you because it's so good. And then how you can also find your true identity too. My winter arc. I'm going to try and make this as short as possible, but let me just get into it. The TLDR is this: my winter arc, I spent the entire time grieving my old identity of a content creator and influencer on TikTok and all of that. Because I realized that it wasn't who I am and wasn't like, there was no way that I was ever going to sustain that. And it was just so heartbreaking, especially like not being able to fulfill my acting dreams, etc. What my real identity is. And so after spending countless hours channeling and downloading and trying to figure out like who the hell I am, it turns out that I am, in fact, the daughter of a primordial. Like, what? I sound like a crazy person, I know, but I'm not a starseed. I am not a light worker. I'm not an indigo child. I am a primordial princess. Like, this is wild, right? Clearly, my human brain had a very hard time grasping that, which is why they like were giving me like little hints along the way to sort of prime me to like grasp this. But it makes a lot of sense as far as like the kind of spiritual powers that I have, the psychic powers that I have, like the things that I can do, the access, the clearance level to the wisdoms and the entities that I commune with. It makes so much sense. So once I was able to kind of like embrace that, and by the way, there are other primordial children out there if that was something that you were asking about. So if you feel like you were also like a primordial like child, of course, email me or comment below and like let's discuss because oh my God. Um, and we definitely need to band together because there's like things to do. But because of that, I really realized that I needed to create something that would prevent other people from having to waste decades of their life doing the wrong thing. So, to give you a really quick explanation, like I have been acting, singing, and dancing since I was 3 years old. So, it's my love, it's my passion. I've had like visions of me like singing to like a sold out Madison Square Garden and then going backstage and like instead of doing like a meet and greet, I would have like chairs with like cupcakes and like that I baked. This is just the vision. And I would sit there and I would like talk with my biggest fans and I would like empower them to go out and like, go after their dreams and like be who they were born to be. So unfortunately, like, acting and influencing and content creating are fire industries and that commodity is attention. Attention is what gives you wealth in that commodity. So the more views you have, the more watch time you have, the more money you make. Period. End of story. That is not how I make money. My energetics, my identity, my actual wealth blueprint, which I will teach you how to do too, just wait for it, is through authority, through wisdom, books, courses, IP structures, frameworks, architecting things, crisis management, being the calm head, making decisions in like chaos and a storm. This is what I'm brilliant at. This is what people have paid me for in the past. This is what has always made me the most money. So I need to lean into that. And like, I'll give you an example. Had I known this before, the way that I could have actually succeeded in Hollywood is if I had taken Lena Dunham's route or Mindy Kaling's route. Lena Dunham made her own film, starred in it, put it into the film festival. Judd Apatow saw it, thought it was brilliant, got her to on a meeting with HBO, and thus Girls, that viral show, was created. Mindy Kaling started as a screenwriter for The Office, and then later on she was able to create her own show. That is what I should have been doing, and I probably would have had a very different life and career at this point until like the seeing dead people started to kick in. So but anyway, that's 2020 hindsight. I did write, produce, and direct and star in my own web series at the time when web series were first a thing. And had I continued with that, I probably would also have a very different career and life, etc. So instead of I had to grieve all of that, and that was just really upsetting. But in my destiny chart, it says that I am like a late bloomer, very much like Mulan. So that is why I had to like go through the hard stuff and to realize what wasn't working so that I could now at this time, current point in time, create a course, create an infrastructure, create a system that anybody could use in order to figure out who they really are, why they actually incarnated to Earth this lifetime, what karmic lessons they came here to learn to ascend and evolve, how they can actually make their most wealth and luck, and what legacy they were meant to leave behind, as well as relationships, etc. So I have been like pouring over equations and pulling from, this modality and this modality and this modality so that you don't have to become a master, for example, at learning astrology in order to understand how to brand yourself, how to understand, what's the best way for you to eat or market yourself or, make your coin. So I am creating that course right now. I am so excited. It is called Decode Your Soul, because does not make sense, right? And that way you can really master yourself and be crowned this year. So if that's something that you're interested in, comment below, Decode My Soul. And when I have I'm going to pre-launch it very soon so that you pay one really low fee and you'll be able to get all of the modules and all of the workbooks for life, any updates, etc., before I actually launch the product in its entirety when it's finished. I'm also really excited because then I'm going to be getting my podcast that's going to be launching finally this month. I'm so excited. And then also my spiritual surgery sessions for those of you who truly are the visionary leaders of the new world order. So the ones that are going to be holding up the matriarchy, who are going to be giving power back to the people, who are going to be wielding power responsibly with love and discernment, and who are going to really set this precedence for, peace and love and harmony moving forward. So if that really interests you, it's not going to be a 190-minute session. It is going to be a thing because I am all about transformations and results. And it's going to take more than one session, but it's just going to be, that is the transformation and result. So if that's something that you're interested in, of course, email me. Or you can even comment below, I want spiritual surgery. And then, we can discuss those things. So that's what's coming down through the pipeline. And I'm going to teach you how to, figure out your wealth pillars too, and what the best way for you to make wealth is, and, the best manifesting methods for you, and all of those things so that you can truly have it all, because you truly deserve to have it all, and you don't deserve to get burned, because I know that if you're watching this video that you are one of the good guys. And so I want to help as many of you as I can to ascend and evolve and to take your place. And I think the last thing that I'll leave you with, just a little bit of a spoiler alert, is that one of the downloads that I got from like my primordial mother is that a new pantheon of gods and goddesses are going to be created from the human beings and like souls here on earth. So I'm kind of really stoked to see that come to life. But more on that in later videos. So comment below, decode my soul or spiritual surgery. I want spiritual surgery if that is something that you want. And of course, subscribe to my YouTube and Substack for free for all of the updates and when this is going to launch. I am sending you all of my love and blessings and protection and just like all of the good vibes. You have got this. You can make your luck this year if you take that bold action and think strategically and pivot when necessary. And I will be here as the calm in the storm, as a safe space for you to remind you that you are important and you are brilliant and you are beautiful and you are on the rise. So take care, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.